Today we're here with Bob Welby, Senior Director of Operations for Infiniti for Nissan North America.
This is Amplify, a retail automotive podcast brought to you by Reuters Events and ASOTU. It's time to make the most innovative voices in retail automotive louder.
So I can tell by the body language and the smile and the posture in the conversation just before we started recording that we all kind of will get along really well.
This is going to be nice and fun and easy, just old chatting friends.
Yeah,
you know?
Bob, thanks for joining us today.
It's great to be here, man. Thank you.
Bob, you are the second person that has sat down for a podcast here on Amplify with us that, for me, lives like within 25 minutes of me.
Everybody's
yet
in
it took
Nashville.
us. Yet it took us getting to Vegas to meet each other in person. So
It is a small world.
that's awesome. So tell us a little. You've been with Infiniti at this point now. How long, and what's the journey been within the brand for you?
It's been an amazing journey. So I've been with the company, Nissan Motor Corporation, for 27 years. And
Wow.
that's taken me on a journey.
It's a career, right?
It
That's
really
been
is.
you started there and
I
you're
started
still there.
Yeah, after college, it was it. And that was it. And I'm still
Wow,
there.
that's
So,
incredible.
it's taken me on this journey, and for the past 10, it has been dedicated to Infiniti specifically. And it's amazing that doing it for 27 years, I still feel like I'm learning brand new things all the time. This business is so broad and so deep. It's an absolute blast.
So how long have you been in Nashville?
In Nashville for about 16 years, almost 17 years now.
What was it like before that with Nissan?
It was journeying around the country. So I started in New Jersey once upon a time, and then took a journey through D.C. and North Carolina, California.
It's like a military job.
It was a little bit like that. It felt like we were moving, every 18 months. We were one place or another in the country.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so you've been settled in Nashville, leaning into the Infiniti brand. So it's the luxury side of the business.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see, like luxury, non-luxury, some different challenges
Sure.
right now? What do you see from the luxury standpoint? Like, what are the luxury challenges that you're facing that you see as an indicator of the shifting luxury
Yeah,
market?
man. Wow, there's so many in the business, right? There's so many similarities, but speaking about some of the differences in luxury, more and more cars are going up market, right? And the biggest buzzword these days is EVs, right? And what the price of EVs and where that's going. So it's really changing the dynamic of how customers are even shopping. Higher end of mass market brands versus, the entry side of luxury brands. So it's put a ton of pressure on that side of the business, but it's been a great asset because it's accentuated the need for the experience part of it, right? Which is the other element, and I would say probably one of the most important differentiators for luxury and for Infiniti, right? We talk about the customer experience being as important, if not more important, than the car itself, which I know links up with, with what you guys talk about.
That's in the vein. Yeah. No, and to set, like you said, you just look at all the technology that's being poured in vehicles, all the design that's being put into vehicles, and it's really starting to be almost an alignment of technology and design. Like, if you don't have a vehicle that kind of looks a certain way, and you don't have a vehicle that kind of has all of this technology in it, then it's all just table stakes at this point. So, we were talking to a dealer, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and who has multiple brands, and he's just like, look, every one of our brands has great products. It's not like any of them are just like, the bottom of the barrel or the top.
He's like,
and
a lot of them even look the same.
a lot of them look
They
the same.
can,
So as a luxury brand, setting yourself apart is not based on, who can fight for the lowest price or the lowest lease offer or anything like that. So it has to lean on the experience. How are you working with your dealer partners and your dealer network to craft a better experience through the shopping and purchase and service journey right
Yeah,
now?
I love that question. I love it because everyone talks about the customer experience, right? I don't think I've met somebody that says, "Hey, we don't care about the customer
It doesn't
experience."
matter.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
No one's going to say that
Everyone
ever.
talks about it. So how do you bring that authenticity to it and actually execute on what you talk about? And the partnership with our retailers is huge here. So a couple of things we've been digging into recently, probably three things, is we talk a lot about the digital retail experience. How do we help customers from an online to an offline perspective, right? And it's that balance. We call it Infiniti Now, right? So it's available for you as a customer. And how do we help you in the digital purchasing process go as far as you want to on the online journey, but then also when you want to step offline and step into a store, how do we make that seamless? The retailer knows you. They're well informed by us as the OE on what the customer has done so far, and they can pick it up and take it to fruition. So that's been a big thing for us, a ton of work in that space, and we have a great retail network that's also wrestling to adapt to this. And then we're doing a similar thing on the ownership side, which is what we also talk about. Doesn't end with selling the car, right? So we've gone into
it actually begins.
It kind of begins.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
We love to call after sales future sales, right?
I like
That's a
that.
good one.
I like that move. Yeah.
So in that area, right, we talk about the ownership experience, and we're leaning heavily into what we call service valet, as well as taking care of a customer's car by including maintenance. It's been a thing for us. It's not new in the industry, but for us, it was an important step for a lot of reasons of what's been going on in the pandemic and the industry to really help keep customers connected to the brand and connected to our stores. So as a new customer, we're going to take care of your car for you. You're going to have maintenance included. We'll offer coming to pick up, take care of it, bring it back to you, and really just take friction out of the ownership experience for customers is really our focus right now.
Are you seeing people move toward the brand because you're doing that? I don't know how long that's been launched.
Yeah, it's been relatively new for us. It's since model year 23, so we're
pretty new.
I mean, it's pretty new from this perspective. We've always cared about that connection. It's in the industry. We care about connection to the retailer and making it easier. It's us just really putting a bit of steroids into that, trying to take it to the next level.
So what's the most exciting thing happening within the Infiniti model lineup? I know, talk about EVs and the transition. Everyone has a different approach.
Yes.
What's Infiniti?
Yeah, we're going to be there in that space on the EVs. Right now, what's in front of us is just past year we launched our all-new QX60, which has been bullets for us. It's been great, fabulous family sedan, getting a lot of great energy off of that. And then next year we have our all-new QX80 that's coming up and launching. And launching a vehicle.
How big is that?
It's pretty big.
It's the
pretty
big boy.
It's a big boy.
Is it like the Armada size?
It is exactly that. Yeah, it's a big full-size SUV. Full 3-row, 7 or 8 passengers, all the towing capacity.
All those big family guys are like, give me the big one with all the seats and all the room for the luggage and the towing capacity.
And bringing you the tech, and the big screens and the beautiful interiors. I mean, so yeah, there's that's coming next year, and that always brings a lot of
how are you
excitement.
balancing right now as an OE? The need to satisfy the cultural push toward EVs, but also recognize hey, we have this ICE and maybe hybrid models that need to be in the market, that the market still desires, that we still have on ground and have to sell. How are you balancing that both on a day-to-day and then also in the marketing and operations with your retailers?
It's a deep topic, right? And I think and we're doing it.
He's very carefully. Here's my answer.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, the world, the U.S. is not going to be 100% EV tomorrow. Right? There's a need for diversification in offerings and powertrains. It gets into the deep topics of infrastructure, right?
Always.
In different geographies. California is going nuts with electrification. Maybe in other areas in central parts of the country, not so much. So there's a need really to support both on this journey. So we're heading towards EV, and that's a big, big part of our story is helping prepare our retailer partners, our network, with the training, the info, to be ready to care for that when we bring it, because we're going to do that. But also in the meantime, we have some fabulous products that customers love, and so we're finding those ways to balance and support it. And for us, the grounding element is who we are as a brand, right? We talked about, the experience being as important as the car itself. When you get into the cars, the design, the technology, we will be the brand that is the best that Nissan Motor Corporation has to offer in terms of tech and design. So that really plays in both spaces, in your ICE engines and in your EVs as well.
When you consider the luxury experience and the mindset of a luxury buyer, how would you define that? What are the things that are most important to them at scale?
Yeah, that's a great one. I like bringing it down to knowing and being known, right? So as a luxury buyer, right, it's to me, at least the Infiniti buyer, luxury is not just an item on a shelf to be admired and stared at.
Right, it's not a collector's piece.
No, it's to be experienced, to live, and we live in our cars. We experience moments in our cars, right, when we're driving with our children or friends, and so it's a luxury that should be lived in, if you will, right? So we talk a lot about that in the interiors of our cars, what happens inside of those. So when you talk about the experience, it's recognizing that and the role that we play in that process, helping them buy, helping them own, and that's that knowing and being known. Do you know me as a customer? We're a big company. How can we show you that, we know who you are, we know what you prefer, and we have offerings for you.
And you care about it.
That's an intense level of appreciation for a person, which I would call care.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about that a little bit in the last 24 hours.
I know. Yeah, we have. We had just to fill you in. We had an amazing restaurant experience last night, and the server was just put on a masterclass, and we asked him, hey, what is that? Because all of us car people at the table were like, customer experience. We're talking about this. We said, what is at the center point of hospitality? And he goes, passion. He goes, when I say passion, I mean that I care.
Yes.
Right. And so there's a level of knowing and being known as a customer, and your needs is when you know that you're cared for.
Yeah, that's right. It matters. It comes through.
What do you think as an industry, as you're thinking about the consumer problems that you're trying to approach and the retailing problems that or opportunities that you're trying to approach, what is one of the biggest things that over the next 1 to 2 years we as an industry need to solve for to maintain great employee or great consumer expectations?
Another one. You ask good questions, man.
Yeah,
There's an
let's go.
hour in each one of those. Right?
Yeah, there is.
I'll point to us as kind of an OE, right? And I think I see one of our primary jobs is helping empower and unlock our retail network. Right, because when we build off this thing of knowing and being known in the customer, right? As the OE, I don't talk to customers and I don't sell cars directly, right? So it's the retailers that do that in the network, right? So how is our business set up to help them do business easier? On the inside of our company, we talk about trying to be the easiest car company to do business with, and that shows up in our policies and how we support our network, how we help train the retailers when their employees are turning over, how do we ramp them up in the brand? All those little building blocks, the more we can invest in that and supporting them, that translates in that passion to the end customer.
All right, if you had the ears of your dealer network all in one place and you got to encourage them with one thing as we close this episode, what would it be?
I'd start with thank you. I would start with thank you. They are experts. They know the customer. They have passion for the business. It starts with that. It starts with thank you for them. And I would say the next thing would be, we're on this journey together. This business is evolving. As we get into EV, there's going to be change, right? It's not the same business it was. Certain things are the same, certain things aren't. So we're going to evolve together, and we're going to be some of the best out there.
Well, I would assume that anyone that heard that would come a little bit closer to the Infiniti brand, whether they are an Infiniti dealer,
I think so.
or
I have,
or any other dealer. So thank you so much for the time today and coming on Amplify.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Amplify podcast, brought to you by Reuters Events and ASOTU. For more engaging episodes like this, subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. You can learn more about our hosts, Paul J. Daly and Cal Mountsier, by visiting ASOTU.com.